Hello my friend, welcome back to my channel, and a special hello to you if this is your first time. My name is Brianna and I am the diva behind Diva and the Divine, and I am so glad you are here. Today, my friends, we are talking about my goals for the month of March because we're already into month 3 of 2021. That's mind-boggling. That's absolutely insane to me. This month's goals are actually going to look a little bit different because I am currently kind of adjusting my short-term priorities just a little bit. And the theme for this month is actually going to be focused on rest, relaxation, rejuvenation, and preparation mentally and physically for the events in the upcoming months, which includes things like launching my nutrition and coaching program and all sorts of things like that. So while I'm here, while I'm still in Florida, as you can tell, the background is still different. This is our last month in Florida, and I'm going to, instead of fighting the mental and physical fight that I have been fighting since I've been here of I still have to try and do all the things just like I was at home, instead of fighting that fight, I am not going to fight it. And I'm going to use this month to kind of refocus everything, my mental energy, my physical energy, so when April rolls around and we are back home, I can hit the ground running. That is the focus of all of the goals this month. Most of the goals this month. So let's talk about the goals. I use, as per usual, the Cultivate What Matters Power Sheets goal planning system and their monthly tending list. This tending list helps you create action items that help you make steps towards your big picture goals for the year. And I just love the way this setup happens. I love how it helps me. It's a wonderful, wonderful system. I did want to go ahead and take a quick look at last month's goals because I didn't do an overall recap for you. I just kind of threw some of what I was doing into the weekly vlogs that have been going up on my channel on Thursdays. So let's take a look at February, but I will tell you that not a whole lot got done in February, or at least didn't get done well. So let's just go ahead and scroll right on through these. Log 20 miles towards my medal. I did not do that. I did not cook a new recipe, but I did bake a new recipe. I did create a kind of weight loss rewards list for myself, which was awesome for my cut and everything, but a couple things have happened since then. One, I went on a lunch and no buy. Whoops. And two, the cut hasn't been going quite as planned. More on that in March's goals. Finalized coaching setup. I'm this close, almost there. Email list organization. I did in fact do that. Send my grandfather a birthday card. I did do that. I didn't do anything having to do with the piano. It's just not my priority right now. I've been deeply involved in books and we've been doing family time and watching a lot of movies and it has been great. I just haven't been using my free time to play the piano. That just is what it is. Celebrate Valentine's Day. We did sort of kind of do that and set up my content planner. You guys are gonna laugh. I'm filming this on March 2nd. I got my content planner yesterday. So I once again couldn't actually check it off of my February tending list because it didn't show up until March 1st, but it's here now. I spent like an hour and a half yesterday getting the whole 15-month thing set up, and now it is active and in use. Thank goodness. My weekly action items, read for 3 hours. 3 hours was actually like the magic reading number for me. I fell a little bit short. I was at 2.5 the first week and 2.5 the second week. The third week I killed it, and the fourth week I read for over 5 hours. I stopped tracking after 4 hours, but I got really involved in a book, which I'll tell you about in a minute, that just like ate up hours of my time because I finished it in like 4 days. And that's in addition to the other books that I've been reading. So the reading goal was awesome. Social media free for 24 hours. I kind of did that. I was more like social media free slash being a little bit more intentional about not opening Instagram for a period of 24 hours. There was like last weekend, last Saturday and Sunday, I checked in on Instagram 2 or 3 times, but I didn't spend copious amounts of time scrolling or anything. I went on with the intention of like, I saw a message from somebody and I started a conversation I wanted to follow up on, or I wanted to post something or something like that. So while I didn't do completely 24 hours free of not opening social media, I did a lot better and my screen time results prove that. 1 hour at the piano, like I said, that didn't happen. Vlog for my cut did happen. Every Tuesday Procreate tutorial, I did 2 out of the 4 weeks. Again, I've just been spending my free time doing other things. And my Beachbody workouts, those I have been doing and I've been doing them well. And then my daily action items, it looks like I stopped like logging into my power sheets and actually tracking them, but I did well on closing my rings, earning my X. I did not do well on doing makeup every single day. Waking up early, nope, more on that later. Devotionals I did well on, morning pages about 50-50, and read I killed. I killed the reading last month. So while there was a lot that I didn't do well, this was also the time period where I was kind of transitioning from I need to do all the things to kind of letting that go, and with the help and the encouragement of you guys, of my community, embracing this season in Florida as a season of rest instead. And so that is how I started approaching the second half of February and will be approaching almost the entirety of March. So with that in mind, I want to go through some of the goals that I have written down for March's tending list. As you guys know by now, they are monthly action items, weekly action items, and daily action items, and I have a little bit for all 3. Starting with the monthly action items, I have batch March's content because I didn't batch week in February, and batch April's content. So those 2 weeks are going to be pretty busy, but those are going to be the only things that are really keeping me extraordinarily busy. My next item is to finish Order of the Phoenix. I was on track to do that. Actually, hang on. I have it right here. I'm this far. I have that much left. Not a whole lot at all. Like, it's probably like 200 pages, but I'm almost there. I'm almost through the biggest book in the series. So my goal is to finish that book. For the Diva and the Divine Book Club this month, we are reading Badass Habits, the latest book by Jen Sincero. I really enjoy her work, so I was very excited to see that she put out a habit book. I know nothing about it. I just know who wrote it, and I know that I've enjoyed her previous books, so I'm very much looking forward to reading that. And then kind of the thing that explains everything else I'm working on is I have a 3rd book that I want to read this month, and it is called In the Flow by Alyssa Vitti. And basically, the reason I'm reading this book comes down to this. This is a book about hormone balance. I just finished this morning her first book called Woman Code. It was exceptional. It really kind of lit a fire under me to want to dive into experimentation, and the book is about balancing your hormones naturally. If you've been following along with my journey through this cut, through the first 4 weeks of my cut, you'll know that the weight loss has been a struggle, and not for my lack of trying. That is the killer, is I have been doing things right. I have been eating well. I have been working out, and I just constantly feel burnt out, and I am not seeing results. I might lose a little bit of weight, and then my period shows up. I gain some of it back, like a significant amount. I had a 1.6 gain during my last period, and then my body doesn't let it go. It's not like it just goes away after my period's over. No, my body hangs on to things. So I started to realize that there was a correlation between the timing of my period, how I've been feeling throughout my entire cycle, and I started doing some research. And long story short, I discovered that there is a pretty solid possibility that I have some hormonal imbalances. I have self-diagnosed myself with excess estrogen. I believe, based on my symptoms, like the way I carry my weight, the fact that I'm having problems losing weight, the hormonal acne that has been rampant in my face the last handful of months, all of it ties to excess estrogen in the body. And so that got me interested, very interested. I was like, if this is a hormonal issue, it's not the fault of my diet. It's not the fault of my cut. It's not me. Like, it is me, but it's not me. You know what I mean? So I took the deep dive into how can I fix these hormones? What can I do to solve this problem? And I hopped on to Kelly LeVeque's podcast because a lot of her stuff, she does Body Love, she does the Fab Four smoothies. Her stuff is all about blood sugar balance, which is part of hormonal balance in the body. And so I knew her podcast wouldn't let me down. So I kind of scrolled through to be like, what other cyclical menstrual cycle people does she have on her podcast? And I happened upon this podcast episode she did with Alyssa Vitti, and I loved everything that Alyssa had to say, and so I immediately picked up her book. It was on the Scribed app, which is an app that I use like Netflix for books. It's amazing, and both of her books are on there. If you're interested, I do have a referral code for Scribed. It's like $8 a month, but I think you still get 2 months free if you use my referral code, and then I get a month free thanks in advance. So I'll have that link down below, but both of her books were on there, so I immediately dropped all the reading I was doing and picked up this book. And everything that she had to say was just And her second book apparently is more of a how-to guide for implementation of all of the information I learned in the first book. So all that to say, I'm focusing on that. And then my focus for the month is to mess around with some of this hormonal rebalancing, really diving into that research about myself. The month is going to be focused on rest, hormonal rehabilitation, fueling my body well. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with my workouts yet, because one of the points in the book is we women may be working out the wrong way. I'll read it and I'll get back to you on that and see how I feel about that. But a lot might change in the short term, just for my approach, just to see if implementing this protocol will help me. And if it helps me, I'm going to tell you about it. Don't you worry. But I need the time to sit back and kind of do this experiment on myself in an environment that has me rested and relaxed and not stressed out, because stress also plays a huge role in your hormones. All of that to say, the goal is to read in the flow and then implement what I learn in the book. My next goal, I literally have start implementing the flow protocol. That is its own goal in and of itself. I want to read all about it and I want to embrace it and I want to do it. And I'm very excited about it. My next goal is to finalize coaching. Coaching launches in April. Mid-April, ladies and gentlemen. The exact date is still TBD, but I'm going to get home, I'm going to get settled, get the house set back up, and then we are go for Brianna's nutrition coaching availability. It will be time. I'm very excited. So I want to make sure I have all my ducks in a row, everything in place, so on launch day we can just go with the flow and see what happens. And then my last monthly action item is to go home. We're gonna go home this month, and that's going to be an undertaking in and of itself. My weekly action items list is actually very short. There are only 4 things on there, and they are very practical, and they are very much geared towards this whole idea of rest and rejuvenation this month. Starting with taking a Sabbath day every week. That means a lot of things to a lot of people, but basically it means it's a day of rest. In the Bible, it is a day of rest, and one of the commandments is to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. And I've done this before, and after reflecting on it a little bit, being in the middle of the Lenten season, and actually the pastor from my church back in Illinois, one of the pastors, and the student pastor there started a podcast called Two Dudes in a Canoe, and it's actually a really great podcast. I've been thoroughly enjoying listening to it every week. But they talked about the Sabbath and how both of their families very intentionally take a Sabbath from sundown Saturday to sundown Sunday, with the exclusion, of course, he has to get up to go to church and preach on Sunday mornings. But other than that, it is a time of relaxation. It is a time of rest. It is a time of focusing and just being together as a family. And I really loved that idea as like the intentional choice to take a rest from sundown on Saturday to sundown on Sunday. And we've kind of been doing that, but I want to make sure it's a lot more intentional with like, it's the end of the day Saturday. What are we going to do to just kind of enjoy the evening together? On Sundays, we've been doing church in the living room, and then we've been going to my husband's grandmother's house for lunch, which is a relaxing experience mostly. And so we've kind of already been doing that, but I want to make sure that I'm mentally aware that I am taking this deliberate time of rest every single week. Next up, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Read 3 hours every week. Although, given my reading goals, I'll probably be reading closer to 4 or 5. 70,000 steps. Because, again, regardless of what my workouts end up looking like, I have to make sure I'm still being active and moving my body. And that is actually an important part of the flow hormonal balancing protocol. You still got to get your body moving. And it's just a matter of the book teaching me how to approach that. But for the first week of the month, I'm finishing up Beachbody's MBF, which is great. I've been enjoying it. It's been a challenge, but I've been enjoying it. So I don't know what the 70,000 steps are going to look like. It might just be me going for a couple of walks, making sure as I'm tidying up through the house, I'm doing things to stay active. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I still need to get my average of 10,000 steps a day. The reason I do a weekly step goal though is because it allows room for a lazier day. On Sundays, on our rest days, if I only get 5,000 or 6,000 steps, that's okay as long as I hit 70,000 for the week. And then I wrote down a social planning day. I've been so bad about posting on social media or even logging into social media. My Facebook group, I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry. I'm just not there anymore because there's so much to do, and I just need to get better about like planning out posts in advance and scheduling them so things happen automatically. And once I get into that flow, that will just help my social media run a lot more smoothly, but I have to get started. So one day a week, even if I'm just chilling from work in general, I want to take even a couple hours to just kind of plan out some social posts, get them all ready to go, maybe write an email newsletter, and stay on the ball with things like that. All right, that was it for weekly. Like I said, I only had 4 items. Now my daily action items, again, kind of reflect the general, these are the things I want to be doing, but mostly I'm in a mood to rest and relax this month. First, daily Sudoku puzzles. You guys, if you saw my favorites video, you heard me rave about the app Good Sudoku. I'm still using it every single day. I broke my streak once. I forgot to do them one day, like 2 weeks ago on a weekend, and I was furious with myself about it because I broke my streak of doing the daily challenges. So I want to continue to do those every single day because I love the time it takes. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, depending on the day of the week. I just love it. It's so much fun, and it engages my brain in a way that I don't normally. My next 2 are movement, you know, closing my rings and tracking my food. I want to take a little bit of time to listen to even just one song daily, but I want to take some time to listen to worship music every single day, get my headspace right. Worship music is something that lowers my stress levels and calms me, so it just plays right into the theme of the month. I have written down drink tea. I have a handful of teas here that I have barely touched, so I should do that before we leave, but also that's going to be part of like an afternoon ritual of relaxing and being calm and quiet, which actually spins me right into my last daily action item, which is to take afternoon quiet time. You know how like there's a nap time for children or quiet time for children? I'm gonna take that before an adult, and it's gonna be great. And that's it. Those are my goals for the month of March. I'm very excited about them, but also it is a very weird feeling when you're so used to go, 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 burning the candle at both ends and like feeling drained and tired all the time. It's weird to deliberately make this choice. But later on, maybe next month or the month after, I'm actually going to do a video about my brief season of rest and how it helped me, what changes I made, and how it affected me and whatnot. So you'll hear all about the results of this month in a future video, but for now, that's what this is. My goals are to basically relax, get re-energized, refueled, take it slow, and I'm focusing on learning more about myself, the way my body works, and kind of making those changes to hopefully bring a lot more vibrancy and energy in the near future. In the comments below, I would love to hear about a goal that you are working towards this month. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already joined the Diva and the Divine community, we would love to have you. You know where that little red subscribe button is. Just go ahead and click it, and you will be a valued part of our community. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. Take care. Happy March. We're almost to spring. Hang on tight, guys. I'll see you later.